to there we go. Hola. Welcome, welcome everyone. Um, kind of feels fitting. This month we've spent a lot of time with horses and the transition of horse technology into other types of technology, and we're all steeped in technology in our lives right now. So, um, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. And we're gathering here for our fourth and final official week with horses. I know they'll stay with us as we move forward, but we'll move to a different topic next week. And we'll get started with a few slides. And we'll share my screen. Here we go. We will start with Dr. Peng's 8 verses. We can find our comfortable Qigong postures, feeling our sits bones rooted, the spine lengthening as head touches sky, feet stand on earth, body relaxes, and the mind expands. Be respectful and quiet. Mind is clear and appearance is humble. No distracting thoughts. Mind expands into infinite space. Feel the mind shining into the body deeply and inwardly. Entire body is harmonized with qi. Harmonized with qi. And I feel like this month has been the perfect opportunity to spend time with the energy of the horse's slow blink, and as we've explored this unconditional love of the horse's vast heart field. And I just wanted to share this slide again to help us sink into that relaxation, that unconditional love of the horse's field and our Mingjue entirety field. Just kind of settle in. You can take a few deep breaths. Oh, even sighing as we release any tension that's gathered from the day. And we can even invite our eyes to gently, gently close. And as the eyes close, the jaw can relax. Inviting that tension to soften. And as we're in this fire horse year, we can remember this lesson from the horses and carry it through as the energies move fast this year, especially with spring. This is another beautiful painting from Karen, and I love it here right after the slow blink and the horse's gaze, because we have these beautiful horse eyes gazing at us, and I invite us to continue our slow blink and our unconditional loving gaze connection with this beautiful painting. And we continue to soften as we integrate this evening all of this time we've had with horses, with each other, with these beautiful fields. And this next slide is from Suan, and it continues this theme of gazing into the horse's eyes. And this is from a healing horse retreat that Suan attended in 2024 in Costa Rica. And we can continue this softening, this letting go, as we gaze at this image and the ones to follow from the retreat. And we can just allow the good information of this beautiful healing space to work with our fields.
That frustrating is they call it yoga because it flips all the way around on itself to become.
This is a video from the Healing Horse Retreat, and I will play it. And oh, you know what? I don't think I have sound. It actually has wave sound, so I'm going to stop share really quick and then share again with sound because I want us to hear the beautiful waves. All right, here we go. Okay, so I love this video for so many reasons, and just a few. It's that combination of the setting sun, so we have this gentle fire horse energy with the sound of the water and the presence of the ocean, all of these horses and humans merging together at this time of transformation in the day where dusk comes in and we're moving into the darkness. It's just very beautiful. And thank you, Suan, for sharing with us.
It could be sunset, but it was actually a sunrise.
Oh, it was sunrise. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
But it's very similar.
Yeah.
Just in opposites, that's all.
Yeah. Well, that's even better. It captures this equinox. So we have the beautiful sunrise and the oceans. So we have the coming of the light, and we can carry that with the ocean sounds and the horses. Thank you, Suman. Mm. Mm. Here we have Indigo and Rena, which we saw last week. And I want to share this just because I always think of horses with Rena also. And through Megan, a lot of beautiful horse information has come through Rena. And she helped pick out this wonderful video of a happy horse rolling around in, that's a puppy wanting to play fetch, a happy horse rolling around in what looks like spring grass, but it could be grass from any time, but we'll imagine it's happy horse rolling in spring grass. Hi, baby. I love that video too because it has the dog barking in the background, which is not a dog here. And we've watched this video a few times, and the first time the dogs barked, our dogs were like, "What's that? Is there a dog here?" But now they're like, "Oh no, there isn't." But it just, I don't know, it captures all the life around this happy horse. This horse is just rolling and enjoying its time, and there's dogs, and I don't know. So it's a joyous video. Thank you, Megan and Rena. There we go. Oh, and I wanted to share Karen's other painting that we've been um, enjoying this month, just because it's felt like this energetic anchor as we hold the horse's energy of grace and stillness and movement and beauty and presence and our long connection with horses. So we'll just gaze upon this beautiful painting.
I asked them, like, what are your customers? Well, Lenovo came up a lot, but Dell came up a lot. Look back at our conversation, say, but it was anyway, there's a lot of topics.
And this slide is an iron horse locomotive toy that is from Gary, and it was his uncle's during his childhood, during his uncle's childhood. And later in our session, Gary will share some information about the iron horse and that transition, because we've spent quite a bit of time holding space for that transition, as I mentioned earlier. And this iron horse is the perfect visual and holder for that movement. So Gary will share more with us in a little bit. And this is the final slide for this month on horses. And we saw it on the first night. It is Suwon at the Healing Horse Retreat at sunrise in the ocean. And it's just so beautiful. I invite us to just receive the good information of horses, of healing fields, our consciousness field, all of the beautiful sharing that we've had this month. Mm. All right, that's the last presentation for this topic, and I open the floor to anyone. And I want to thank everyone for all of the contributions and just the stories and the presence that you've brought. It's been very beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, Gary.
I didn't know if you wanted to hear about the iron horse now. It's a pervasive term. It's considered by the early 21st century to be transitioning into an archaic reference for a steam locomotive and the railway which it travels on. The term was common in both Britain and North America. And the iron horse was used admiringly when comparing early road and railway traction engine performance to slower, less powerful horse-powered tramways. And the usage of the word iron was reflecting the material required for functioning railways as early as 1825, actually. And the term became widely popularized and found frequent use in the century and a half following the competition won by Stephenson's rocket, which I don't know much about. And the uh, the little engine that I have, I was my uncle's, and it was made somewhere around 1868. near as I can trace. And it was made by Edward Ives Manufacturing Company in Connecticut. And I've just hung on to it all the years and taken it with me everywhere we've gone. And I never used it. I don't have the key for it or the track or anything. It was just the engine, and I couldn't part with it. So that's it.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, I imagine it must be heavy when you hold it.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's only about that big.
yeah. Mm, mm, thank you. That's perfect. It really ties in with this transformation and movement away from horse technology. Um, yeah.
Well, when I was growing up, I lived down the alley from the railroad tracks. And as kids, we used to play down there, and I can remember the old steam engines
Mm,
on the track, and we even put coins on there occasionally. Whatever. Good memories.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm, mm, Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Mm. The steam engine. The iron horse. Wasn't that long ago. It was, but it wasn't. It's really so much change in a short time. Mm. Oh,
Thank you, everyone, for all the really unique and varied shares today. Karen, I love your artwork. It's almost like horses as mountains. It's like, I don't know what you intended with the artwork, but what came through to me was these beautiful horse faces that almost looked like they were these huge mountains. So there was such a strength and presence in the painting.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And what was coming, what I'm feeling really strongly in my body right now from the presentation that Elizabeth shared is um, what happens, like this reclamation that happens when we interact with animals and maybe with plants too that have been like very like agriculturally used or important in a more personal way. And so the pictures, Swan, from your Costa Rica trip, it felt like that reclamation, like seeing a horse for the being that a horse is rather than, what a horse has been in agriculture, which, how lots all it's fine. It's not judging either way, one way or another, but I'd be curious to learn if that was one of the things that you experienced at that retreat, like reclaiming that relationship with the horse as who the horse is rather than horse as how horses are useful to humans. It kind of reminds me of why beekeeping is important to me, because the way that I interact with beekeeping is more like interacting with the bees as honeybees rather than interacting with them as they would be interacted with in a more agricultural setting. And there's just something deep that I feel in my body when I engage like that, that feels like it awakens my like my true self more, my wild true self, rather than my kind of like curated self that's appropriate for society, etc. So anyway, that's what's stirring for me today. I really appreciate everything. Yeah, it's been a
That
great
was
month.
so beautiful what you just said, because it really did capture the essence of the week. And Letitia, the woman who has worked with these horses to heal them and train them in a way, spoke about the history of humans and horses, and that, you know, we're coming back around. It's like there was a cycle of, you know, horses just being, you know, in service agriculturally, and then as show horses or as, you know, race horses, or, you know, just in an arena where they were profiting their owners. And yet, even in that industry, in the racing industry, the jockeys and the trainers still were maintaining that kind of connection to them in some ways. Some of them, I'm not saying all trainers, but there were some that were more like horse whisperers. And so for that reason, at this, with her horses, you don't ride them. They've really been brought here to be able to reclaim their original connection with the earth, to be out in the fields free all the time. And then the only time they were bridled was when we took them down to the beach. And yeah, I shared about, you know, I think I shared about coming back and unbridling them and then letting them go out through the gate. And there were 3 of them that just took off like the wind. And it took my breath away to see the joy in them. Maybe it's worth saying again, because I'm feeling it again. It was like, I'll never forget that moment. I can still feel it in my body, because I could feel what it was for them to be free. And that's what I'm working on in my life now, you know. And it's just such an incredible example of the joy that these animals can experience when they truly are, you know, free and treated humanely and as, you know, sentient beings. So, and that's the reverence that was held that whole week with all of us. And it was my first real experience with horses. I really didn't have any experience with horses, and I really want to go back and reconnect with them, and go to another level with them. You know, they're in a different place now, I'm sure, and I am in a different place. So anyhow, thank you for letting me share them, and then the joy and the peacefulness that we felt. We were sitting in circle as humans, and the horses were around us in circle, and often every day. And under those were papaya trees, I believe. Huge papaya trees out in the field. And that, you know, because it was so hot there, it was, you know, over 100 when we, in the midday. And so we had a morning class and a late afternoon class, and the midday was for, you know, being in the shade and siesta and all of that for everybody. But yeah, it was really a joy to experience being able to connect with them from a very simple place of just standing in this position with our hands. That the whole first day, that's what it was. And it was so much like just being in in the Mingjue state, and being in a qigong standing meditation with them. So we weren't allowed to touch them the first day. It was them connecting with us. And then the second day, we were allowed to give them energy. So there was now a 2-way energy happening. And the third day, we were allowed to actually touch them and begin that process of nourishment for each of us, and they were allowed to touch us from the get-go. The first day they were there, they were coming with their mouths and picking off, negative chi and throwing it away, and they had to get rid of it too. So the shimmy, that I can say this because almost everybody here is in Teacher Way's class, but that when we're bending over and shaking our tail, it's like that was one of the ways they could let go of what they were pulling off us. And then they would sneeze and they would do that and spit it out, and it was just a fascinating process of how they could sense where you needed to let go. And then by the last day we were working mutually together, and it was very, very special. So, and a very nicely guided process into that, because some people there were very experienced with horses, and there were a few of us that had never really worked with horses before. So it was a nice combination, and we all benefited greatly.
Swan, thank you so much for sharing all that. I wonder how it was for the people who were really used to being around horses, who maybe had been introduced to horses through a different reference framework.
There was the woman, the older woman with I forget the name of the horse, but it was the light colored horse. I don't know if you showed the picture of that. I did send it, but anyhow, she was in her 80s. It wasn't shared with us. Because I've watched Parkinson's people for a long time, I suspect she was in early stage of Parkinson's and was there specifically to heal whatever was going on. And she came from like a serious, equestrian, competitive horse family. And so this was for her a very different experience, to just be with the horses. And then there was another woman who wants to do the same thing, and she's a psychologist and has been in that arena with humans, and now but she's been a horsewoman the whole time, not competitively, but just owning horses and riding them. And she was the one that I talked about last time or the time before, that had some profound experiences eye to eye with the horses, where she dropped into those liminal spaces, just into another I would say arena, but it's just another field of energy. It wasn't one that most of us experience with the horses there. We long to, but I had some really wonderful moments, but I don't think I really crossed into the space that she talked about. It was really very, very special, and for her it was very healing, I think, too. So
Yeah, so thank you for sharing. And I can't open my camera right now because I'm using a headphone, but that was my question was to what kind of communicate, like we talk about information, like kind of information did you get in your relating to the horse?
I had a real big healing. I think it might have been the second or third day, and we were to connect with a horse and do healing, but it seemed that I wasn't connecting with any horses. And I went into an old pattern, a really old pattern of feeling totally like an outsider, not belonging to the human tribe and not belonging with the horses. And I was going into this state, and the horses started to circle around us. And all of a sudden, I started to feel this wholeness. And it was being the head horse, the lead horse. They do have a hierarchy. Has only one eye that sees. Was blind in the other eye, and I was aware of this. And he came with his good eye right around me, and I began to feel this shift of my own emotion around this. I was very sad. I was in like this deep grief place, and the shift of feeling totally loved and belonging to this whole group. And that was the communications coming from those horses. There was so much love as they were circling around us. And it was so beautiful. And people who were working with a horse, they still worked with the horses that within the circle and within the whole movement of the energy. The other experience I had was one day I was with Beauty, and he's quite tall, and we were connecting, eye to eye, but I was getting a stiff neck. So I didn't say anything out loud. I just said, "Oh, Beauty, it would be so nice if you could lower your head a little bit. My neck really hurts." And he did. He lowered his head. So that's the kind of information impact that I had. And there was much, much more, because at night we were working with Joyce St. Germain, who's a shaman. She's the one that took us there. She'd been there 3 times before. And we did a lot of inner work at night, including journeying and connecting. Letitia really wanted us to work with the healing of humans and horses and bring it to a new level of healing for horses all around the planet. And so we were working with that, and I don't have the notes here, but I had a major vision during that and it involved some of the horses there who were in the lead, but maybe sometime I'll bring that and share it, because it's 2 years ago, and I would like to kind of share it. But it was like there was a lead horse, and there were humans that were also following them. We weren't riding them. It was more like we were flying with them. And there was a partnership there for transformation. So that's all I remember. I mean, I know that there's maybe more depth to it than that I, would get if I reread my notes and could share it with you. But everybody was having those kinds of visions going, like the information goes everywhere. So if we're having these visions, it can help the whole community of horses all around the planet. So there was an intention that was going on during that week that we were also participating in. So for worldwide healing of horses and humans. So yeah, thanks for asking that, Sheena. That was really.
Thank you, Suan. And you transmitted something in what you said. The information came through very clearly. Thank you.
Are there any healing intentions that we'd like to put in this very strong field?
Yes, I'd like to put my friend Lisa Bede, who's in the ER right now, getting evaluated for a possible stroke or UTI or something. And my friend Cynthia, who is home after having a hip replacement when she fell. So, yeah, and my friend Nori, who can't walk for a month because of a split kneecap when she fell. So, send energy to this somehow, somewhere here in Pawtucket, we're having a lot of aging falls. I'd like to avoid that myself.
Holding Shayna and Nori and Cynthia and joining Lisa at the hospital right now and sending them big hearted horse belonging energy. Thank you.
I'd like to place Sophie after her surgery in the field with her caregiver, our son Rodney, and also our two grandsons, Alexander and B. Alexander for his anxiety he suffers from, and B, that he finds his place. And I know that they'll be pending layoffs, so it will be a trying time. So I lift those loved ones up.
Thank you, Lillian. Holding all these beautiful family members of yours in our field. I trust that Sophie's surgery went well.
Yes.
Hey, howla, howla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I had the service dog, I sort of laid on the floor and I looked in her eyes, in the eye, and I said, "Slow blink."
Dogs do it too. My cats do it.
Slow blink. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Howla. Thank you.
I'm so touched by Suan's sharing. I want to put it in the field, especially our old patterns, and then being held in that. We've talked about the unconditionally loving gaze of the horse and the horse's heart field, and that story is a perfect example of that. So thank you. And I bring all of our little tender selves and our patterns that exclude us from the circles. And yeah, thank you.
Holding that old wisdom of being in community together that the horses share, that belonging, that transmission. Bless you, Swan. That that Swan shared with us from the horse with one eye. Yeah, that's one of the lessons that us humans are needing to relearn is how to be in community with each other. And horses are social. They're always together in groups. So may some of that wisdom, the memory of how to be in community together in peace and harmony come through from our horse friends.
I was thinking about the like kind of the peaceful nature of the horse, that slow blink, what that represents, and this like feeling of peace. I've been thinking about the conflict in Iran a lot, and I think that has the potential to impact a lot of people in the world. It already is impacting a lot of people in the world. who are dependent on energy imports. And so there are people who are suffering because in order to live a modern lifestyle, they depend on those energy imports. And that has a potential to spread even here, although the consequences for us wouldn't be as severe. But in any case, that conflict is having, I think, globally in our consciousness field is having a major impact. And I think just an intention for growing peace, like growing the field of peaceful energy.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, let's hold all the places in war and conflict in our external world and in our internal worlds, which they mirror each other. We'll just hold those in the field. And if you wish, we can gaze upon those places and witness with our slow blink, not looking away, being present in love and peace, and offering the strongest support we can through that slow blink, that loving presence.
When we were seeing the photos of the horse and the horses moving around, I kept feeling the horse's mouth and the heat of the horse and the softness of them. And then I guess I believe it was the last picture when you were at the ocean and looking there. I just said, okay, all my energy is right there. I'm standing in that ocean right beside you. And I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. And feel the water. And Karen, when I looked at the two horses that you painted, and I could see so much in there. It's like I have this kind of a brain where if you give me a pattern, I'll see a whole bunch of things. Like our bathroom floor is like a tile, but I go in there and after 10 years, I'm seeing something different every day. It's like it's really the imagination and the artistic intuitiveness. And when I looked at your picture, I could see many layers in there, and it's just very beautiful work. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your shares. Very, very beautiful, very touching. And, and I felt it's so nice for those horses to have this special time in their lives, to have this peacefulness and to reclaim their horse nature, to be there in their energy and frolicking around, and to do what horses naturally would do. And so I ask for the safety of all horses that are wild. In Canada, they were culling some wild horses, and which is very upsetting. And these all animals deserve to have a beautiful life. All animals, because and that's the animals on the land, in the air, in the seas, and the places that we don't even think about. They all have love. And it's like we'll soon be coming into bear season, where the black bears come out. Everybody's afraid of them, but the black bear, the mama, she loves her baby so much, and she will not harm you. She's the love when they hold their own babies, and the mama horse too, when she had her babies, so that they could be in this place of love. And that is absolutely gift and a paradise. So thank you, Swan, for sharing your journey there. It was like I said, oh my gosh, I could go there. That's beautiful. And we know the horse's biofield is 40 times the size of the human in their heart. that energy, is like, and just imagine the baby heart in the horse, and our baby heart. That's just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Lillian. So we can Lillian, you connected us so well. So let's deepen into that. I'll just invite you all now to find your comfortable seat and close your eyes, and let's go deeper. Let's go deeper into that image that Swan shared with us of the sunrise with the horse named Beauty. And we can enter into our Mingjue state, into our pure consciousness state, just slipping in. And since in this pure consciousness state there is no time and space, we can join Swan. We can be there with her in consciousness. So connecting with the consciousness of Beauty, the horse, his big, wide, generous heart. Connecting in with the consciousness of the ocean, the vast ocean. Connecting in with the consciousness of the sun, the rising sun. Connecting in with the consciousness of the earth. Allowing Earth's energy to rise up within us. Connecting in with the consciousness of the vast heavens, the entirety of the universe. And just breathing in with this vast experience, this experience of connection, of a particular time and place, and also the experience of all time and all space. And allow this energy to move freely through your entire body. This energy of this healing moment with Swan and Beauty and the ocean and the sun and the earth and the sky. And then coming back into our bodies, bringing the attention to the head, allowing our head inner space to become empty and clear. Shoo, ha ha ha. Shoo. Bringing our attention to the neck, inner space, allowing our neck to become empty and clear. Shoo, ha ha ha. Shoo. Bringing our attention down the shoulders, arms, and hands, through the heart and lungs. Shoo, ha, ha, ha. Shoo. Bringing our attention down the spine, upper back, middle back, lower back. Shoo, ha, ha, ha. Shoo, shoo. Bringing our attention to Huanyan Palace, to our entire organ systems. Shoo, ha, ha, ha. Shoo, shoo. Bringing our attention to our sacral center, to our hips, to lower dantian. Shoo, ha, ha, ha. Shoo, shoo. Bringing our attention down the legs. Shoo, ha, ha, ha. Shoo, shoo. Bringing our attention to our entire bodies and our chi bodies, allowing our boundaries to feel soft, expansive, and vast. Shoo, ha, ha, ha. Shoo, shoo. Noticing your breath. Connecting in with the energies of love and peace and happiness. Feeling gratitude. Connecting in with this simple prayer. May all beings be happy, and may all beings be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. And if you wish to come back, continuing the activities of the evening, I'll invite you to gently move the toes and wiggle the fingers. Sway the hips, roll the shoulders. And when you're ready, you can open the eyes. Thank you, everyone, for this deep month of sharing and exploration, connection. Thank you, horses, for walking alongside of us.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It's been really, I know, just so fun. I appreciate all of you and all of your sharings. Yeah, thank you. Mm. Mm.
It's been very beautiful and very healing. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you so much. It's been gorgeous, beautiful.
Thank you, Karen. Mm.
Thank you so much,
Good night.
Karen, for your beautiful artwork.
Mm. Mm.
Both hold so much the essence. It was just hard when they took it away. It was like I wanted to stay with the two horses even longer. But thank you all for the incredible sharing. Thank you, Gary, for the Iron Horse, whole other, lineage that you can hold in your hands from the beginning of the lineage and the transformation. It's really was quite beautiful. So.
Mm. It is beautiful, especially I loved seeing it following Karen's painting, like to see that human horse connection captured in the painting, and then to see the toy iron horse, which is such a real solid material and it represents such change. I mean, to see the juxtaposition, and yeah, it's just really beautiful. Thank you.
So we'll be back next week with a new topic yet to be solidified. It's somewhere in the field. We'll let you know soon.
Yeah. Good night.
Night.
Thank
Aloha.
you. Hello. Beautiful evening,
Allah.
everyone.
Thank you, Lillian.
Allah.
Allah. Yeah.
Much love.